There is a name that whispers through the history of American entertainment. It is a name that belongs on the highest marquee, yet for decades it was nearly erased. The name is Bert Williams. He was born on November 12, 1874, in the Bahamas, a subject of the British Crown. He would later move to the United States and become one of its most important and most complex performers. He was a comedian. He was a singer. He was a stage actor. He was a pioneer of the silent screen. He was, in his time, one of the most famous men in America, a star who shone so brightly that his light touched everything and everyone in the world of comedy. Bert Williams was a man of profound contradictions, forced upon him by the era in which he lived. He was a black man who became a national star during the absolute peak of Jim Crow segregation and racial violence. He was a comic genius celebrated for his brilliant timing and his deep, soulful performances. Bert Williams' journey to the top was not swift, nor was it simple. It began in the rough-and-tumble world of traveling shows minstrelsy in the late 19th century. It was here that he met his longtime partner, George Walker. Together, they formed the duo of Williams and Walker, one of the most successful comedy acts of their time. They billed themselves as two real coons, a shocking title to modern ears, but a savvy marketing move then. It was their way of distinguishing themselves from the white performers in blackface who dominated the minstrel stage. They were promising their audiences authenticity, even if that authenticity was filtered through the distorted lens of caricature. Their success grew steadily. Williams and Walker created and starred in a series of groundbreaking all-black musical comedies. Shows like In Dahomey, 1903, were revolutionary. The partnership came to a tragic, premature end. In 1909, George Walker fell ill and was forced to retire from the stage. Bert Williams was left to continue as a solo act. Many wondered if he could succeed without his partner. The answer came in 1910, when he received an offer that would change the course of American theater history. Florenz Ziegfeld, the legendary Broadway impresario, invited Williams to join the cast of his Ziegfeld Follies. This was the pinnacle of American variety entertainment, a star-studded revue featuring the most beautiful chorus girls and the most famous comedians. But it had always been an all-white affair. Williams's inclusion was a seismic event. He became the first black performer to be a featured star in the Follies, and he would remain with the show for nearly a decade. His success was immediate and undeniable. He was not just a performer in the show, he was often its biggest draw. He commanded a massive salary, making him the highest-paid black entertainer in the world. If one piece of art defines the soul of Bert Williams, it is his signature song, Nobody. The song was first performed in the musical Abyssinia in 1906, and it became his calling card for the rest of his career. On the surface, it is a simple, melancholic tune about a perpetually unlucky, forgotten character. The lyrics tell a story of constant disappointment. When life seems full of clouds and rain, and I am filled with naught but pain, who soothes my thumpin' bumpin' brain? Nobody. It is a lament, a complaint sung from the perspective of a down-and-out figure. But beneath that surface lies a universe of meaning. For black audiences who heard Williams, Nobody was more than a sad song. It was an anthem of shared experience. It spoke to the feeling of being invisible and dismissed by wider society. When Williams sang, I ain't never done nothing to nobody, I ain't never got nothing from nobody, no time, Bert Williams's influence was not confined to the live stage. He was also a pioneer in the fledgling medium of motion pictures. He acted in a handful of short silent films between 1913 and 1916, translating his unique comedic style to the screen. In films like A Natural-Born Gambler, 1916, he recreated one of his most famous stage routines, a pantomime poker game. With no words, his expressive face, his eloquent hands, his impeccable timing, Williams could make an audience see the cards, feel the tension of the bets, and share in the triumph or despair of the outcome. Silent film was a medium of gesture and expression, and Williams was a master of both. A slight widening of the eyes, a subtle slump of the shoulders, a slow, sad smile. These were the tools he used to convey a rich inner life. One of the most difficult and painful aspects of Burt Williams' career is his use of blackface. He was a light-skinned black man, but for the majority of his professional life, he performed under a layer of burnt cork. To modernize, this practice is abhorrent, a symbol of racist mockery. To understand Williams, we must place it in the context of his time. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the minstrel show was the most popular form of American entertainment, and blackface was its central convention. For a black performer to get on a major stage, especially in front of white audiences, it was often a non-negotiable requirement. It was the uniform of the trade. Williams himself was deeply conflicted about it. He did not invent the caricature, he inherited it. A stereotype created by white performers to denigrate black people. Williams and his partner George Walker initially adopted these roles as a strategy. It was a devil's bargain. To succeed, they had to wear the very mask of the oppression they sought to overcome. Williams once called the burnt cork the mark of the lowly, a clear indication of his own feelings about it. While Burt Williams was celebrated as a king on stage, he was treated as a second-class citizen the moment he stepped out of the theater, you know? His fame and wealth could not protect him from the daily humiliations of segregation. The same people who gave him standing ovations would refuse to serve him in a restaurant or rent him a room in a hotel. This stark contrast was a source of constant pain and frustration. He was a star, but he was still a black man in a white man's America, and the rules of Jim Crow applied to him as surely as to any other person of color. When he first joined the Ziegfeld Follies, some white cast members threatened to quit rather than share a stage with a black man. It was only Florence Ziegfeld's firm stance and Williams' undeniable audience-drawing talent that kept the cast intact. On tour, he often had to travel in separate train cars and find lodging in black-only boarding houses, even when the rest stayed in luxury hotels. In one famous story, he went to a hotel bar to buy a drink and was told the price was $50. Williams calmly placed a $1,000 bill on the counter and said, "I'll have a drink for all the boys, Burt Williams's impact on the art of comedy is as profound as it is pervasive. He was an innovator who developed a style that would be studied and emulated by generations. He moved comedy away from simple slapstick towards something more nuanced and character-driven. His great innovation was the fusion of comedy with pathos. One of his greatest admirers was a young English performer who saw Williams in London, Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin studied Williams's work intently, marveling at his subtle physical expression. The Little Tramp, comedic misfortune, resilience, and underlying sadness, owes a significant debt to Williams. Buster Keaton shared Williams's gift for immaculate timing and physical control. Eddie Murphy spoke of Williams' importance as a trailblazer who proved a black man could be the biggest star in the country. Chris Rock has highlighted Williams' ability to use comedy as a form of social commentary, embedding truth within the jokes. He was known for his take-your-time philosophy. He understood the power of the pause. He could get a bigger laugh from a slow turn of the head than another comedian could get from a pratfall. After Burt Williams died in 1922, a strange and tragic silence began to fall around his name. For a man who had been one of the most famous and beloved entertainers in America, his slide into relative obscurity was remarkably swift. For decades, histories of American theater and film either minimized his contributions or omitted him entirely. He integrated Broadway, was the highest-paid black star, influenced giants like Charlie Chaplin, yet he became little more than a footnote. This cultural amnesia was not an accident. It was the result of the same systemic racism that had constrained him in life. Vaudeville was a live, ephemeral art form. Performances vanished with memory. While he made recordings, much of his visual work was lost, destroyed, disintegrated, or misplaced. The rediscovery of the Lime Kiln Field Day footage in 1976 and its restoration and exhibition in 2014 was a crucial turning point. For the first time in nearly a century, audiences could see him as a charismatic leading man. Today, than a star. He was a foundational artist who laid down the tracks for modern comedy and challenged the racial hierarchy of his time. Burt Williams was somebody, and it is time America remembered his name. If this story moved you, like, subscribe, and share. Support the Greatness 19 channel and click the description box below for products and services.